guys, Carl here, North Coast Constrictors. Welcome back to the channel. So I want to try and make this a quick video. We've hatched out, I said I'd do a midweek video on my last video. We've produced a clown combo, which I've had top breeders confirm that there's a gene in there, kind of confirmed. However, there's only really one way to confirm. It's an unexpected gene, by the way, guys. I didn't expect to have it in my collection. It was by mistake. Somehow it ended up through a male, through a sire that I bought from another breeder. It had the gene. We didn't know. And this year it was its first breeding season. Bought it as a hatchling. He bred, and the clutch of eggs that came out. It's impossible for those kinds of eggs, those hatchlings, to come out without having this kind of gene. Now, please let me be very, very clear here. Okay, I'm not saying that the snake has 100% guaranteed this gene. We're fairly confident it does. In fact, some guys have said it's 100% guaranteed, and they've even said you're more than welcome to use our name. But I won't do that, because what I am doing to be safe is all those snakes are holdbacks, and I'm going to breed them back together, because I've got males and females, in 2.5 years time, and then in 3 years time, when the hatchlings come out, if we've got the gene, then we'll have the super form. We should have at least 50%, but there's one of two possibilities, and let me be perfectly clear when I say this, and this came from one of the top breeders. If I don't have the gene that I think we have, or that they think we have, then I've got a brand new gene, a brand new morph. I'm not saying that I intentionally created a brand new morph. I'm still a second year breeder. I'm still learning. But what I'm saying is, this is how new genes develop. These are how you get new morphs. You didn't find an albino or a lavender albino or a desert ghost or a leopard, pastel, inchy, whatever, in the wild. They all started off as normal wild type looking ball pythons, and through genetic mutation and spontaneous reactions that happen, which are unexplainable, pairing snakes together, you create a new gene. Okay, and this is what snakes do, they mutate. Okay, so one of two things have happened. I've either got this particular gene, or the pairing that I did has created an entirely new morph. Okay, which means it's possibly world's first. I'm not claiming that yet. Just telling you what the possibilities are here. I didn't intend to do it. It was not a project that I was working on. The sire, as I bought it, was a fire blade clown. I actually bought it as a fire clown. And the dame is a pastel 100% het clown. But when you see the hatchlings, like some of the top breeders in the country and in the world have seen, they completely, as was I, bamboozled, because we couldn't ID some of the hatchlings. Obviously not all of the hatchlings got these genes, but there were 3 or 4 snakes in the clutch where the guys are sitting there scratching their heads going, we can't ID this. And we're talking about guys that have been doing this for 15 years, another guy 40 years, and then a couple of other guys 10, but whatever, you know, guys that have been doing it for a long time, and actually guys that are working in this particular project. So let me be very, very clear to you here. I'm not saying I have the gene. What I'm saying is that I think I have the gene. There's other guys that think that I have the gene, guys that I trust implicitly, okay? And there's other guys that have said that I don't have the gene, and they also happen to have the gene, and they're the ones telling me that I don't. And there's other guys that have the gene here in South Africa, and they're telling me, you've got it. How you got it, we don't know. How I got it, I don't know. The breeder that sold me the sire didn't know it had the gene in it. Okay, clearly. Otherwise he wouldn't have sold it to me. It was just one of those things. So, what we thought was a fire. I sent videos. You must understand, guys, this has been, I didn't drop this video on Wednesday like I was supposed to, because from the weekend, from the week, this whole week, we've been trying to make sure, it's very difficult to come onto social media, especially on YouTube or on your Instagram, as a breeder. If you want to be a reputable breeder and you want people to trust you, you've got to make sure that when you tell somebody that you've got a gene, that you've got this, that you have in fact got it. Because the guys that know what they're doing and the guys that can see, they'll call you out on your bullshit. Okay, and you'll tarnish your reputation. So you've got to be very, very careful before you go out and make a claim and say, oh, I've got this. Because the top guys will know, all right? I can understand why some of the top breeders in the country don't want me to have this gene, because it just ups the competition, okay? I can't do anything about that. If I've got it, I've got it, and I'm stoked to have it. If I don't have it, then I've inadvertently made a new morph. The only way we're going to find this out, guys, is wait until the females are ready to breed. They're hatchlings now. In 2 years' time, they'll be December again, so they won't be breeding. We'll pair them up the following May, so it'll be 2.5 years before we pair those females, unless they just grow massively and we can pair them up after 18 months, which I don't think is going to happen. So then we pair them up in 2.5 years' time, the females, because we've got to wait for them to grow. And we breed them back to the males. And then we create the super form. That means that this gene, and I'm going to reveal what the gene is very shortly. It's not a recessive. So it can make the super form. And that is how, obviously the recessive, if you breed a het to a het and you create the recessive, you produce a visual recessive, then you've proved it out. Okay, right, we've got it. So a recessive to a recessive will always make a recessive. Now this is an incomplete dominant gene, and the gene that I'm talking about here, guys, is lace. It's the lace gene. Now lace is an enhancer gene. It works very much like Desert Ghost, except it's an incomplete dominant, which means you only need one copy of the gene. And when paired back to lace, it will make white lace, which is basically super lace, but they call it a white lace. And anything you add that to, any snake that you breed it to, just makes the snake age better like Desert Ghost, except without having to have two visual Desert Ghosts, alright, because there's a recessive, so it's a lot harder to produce. That's why it's such a valuable gene. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out the hatchling. I'm going to pull out the sire first. I'm going to pull out the hatchlings. I'm not going to bother to pull out the female because she's just a pastel 100% head clown. Anybody from a mile away can see that. How we discovered it is we sent videos. First of all, the guys, I was asking for help on IDing the snakes and we couldn't ID them. So one of the top guys said to me, please send me videos and pictures of the sire and the dame, which I did. And that is when it came back to me and said, you've got a fire lace clown. Okay, I thought I had a fire blade clown. It's still blade, but you know, let's leave the blade out of the equation and call it a fire lace clown. I still think it's a fire blade lace clown. This is one of the guys that think blade's not really a gene, but that's entirely different. Blade doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't add massive value to a clown. Clown can have a very reduced pattern, can have a very strong pattern. So you can have a clown that looks blade, but it's not. Okay, so I'm going to pull out the sire. Where is he now? And he is going into the blue, so he's looking very dull. He's been featured on a lot of my videos. This is Comet. I named him. He's one of the first snakes. I bought him as a hatchling. I love the snake to bits. He's like a pet. And initially he was sold to me as a fire clown, but now look guys, he's going into the blue flat out. You can see that pink stomach. His colors are just a lot brighter and a lot sharper. Okay, now when I showed pictures of the hatchlings, we couldn't identify the hatchlings, but the moment I sent a video of this clown, this supposedly fire clown, I was then told it's a fire lace clown. And the telltale signs of this, if you look at the sides of the belly here, very much like yellow belly, but you see this popcorn effect down at the bottom here, along the whole underside. Okay, that popcorn effect there is a lace marker. Not only that, it improves with age, and you can see this snake is really improved. Well, I mean, if you haven't seen it as a hatchling, okay, but very subtly you can see that the markings on the belly, and also it's a pink belly now, but it's normally a very white belly. So how we discovered now that what we couldn't identify in the hatchlings, we've now identified in the sire, and we think that it's lace. It may not be, okay. And that's why I don't want to go on the record and say officially it's lace. Although I've done it on my kind of like on my Instagram and said we've got lace, because we're pretty confident with that we've got it. But I think I'm going to wait before I make it official for 2 or 3 years, and when I breed lace to lace, him going back to the females, and a couple of the other hatchings bred back to each other. If we produce super lace, white lace, then I can officially say we've got lace. But let me go ahead and put out some of these hatchings, and you'll see why, okay, we couldn't really identify them. For example, a pastel clown. Pastel clown doesn't look like this as a hatchling, okay. Looks similar, but this is a pastel lace clown, or what we think is a pastel lace clown. This is not a fire. This is not a pastel clown. Okay, it's just, you've got those telltale markings, you've got those popcorning effect on the side there. Go ahead and watch Justin Kabalka's video on the lace gene, okay, and look how white that belly is. It's just impossible for this to be a pastel clown. But I'm not going to stake my reputation as a breeder on it yet until I've proved it out, which is the reason why it's a holdback, okay. Now I want to show you this snake and why I don't believe it's just a straight pastel clown, and why I believe it's lace. And a lot of other reputable guys believe it's lace. Now I'm going to pull out what we thought was a firefly clown, okay, and I'm going to over here in the top corner, I'm going to show you this snake and another snake that I want to pull out, and then I'm going to show you a picture of snakes in America that have been advertised as firefly lace clowns, and then a fire lace clown male, and then I'm gonna show you that they're identical they look. Now this is a firefly, what we thought was a firefly clown, which is a fire pastel clown, which we think is actually a fire lace clown. You can see very clearly that patterning on the side. Look at that white, absolutely white head. That's something that lace does, okay. And over here, if you look over here, if I've edited my videos correctly, you will see a firefly lace clown that's advertised in America as a fire lace clown. Have a look at this snake, have a look at that snake, and tell me if you can see a difference. But I've erred on the side of caution, and I've marked my tubs possible lace. Now this boy came out here, which is an exact is a fire blade lace clown, which what we think. Here he is here, absolutely magnificent looking snake, fire lace clown. Look at that belly, a white belly. Look at that popcorn effect on the sides there, down there, same side. Now if you look at this snake, and if you look here on the corner of my screen, that they're advertised in America right now as a fire lace clown. Have a look at my snake. Have a look at the belly underneath. Have a look at the tail. Okay. And in general, compared to the snakes that you see there is no difference. Okay. So, guys, that's pretty much the big reveal. We do have some others in the collection which are het for clown. I'm not going to pull them out, I don't want this video to go on for too long. There is quite a heated debate at the moment between some of us and friends of mine that have the gene and say that it's not lace, and me believing that it is lace. So I guess time will tell. It's an incredibly beautiful project. It's an incredibly valuable project. If I do in fact have it, it wasn't intentional, which I've scored massively. Christmas came early. Christmas tomorrow, guys. By the way, it's Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas to all of you, if you celebrate Christmas on Christmas Eve. So that's an early Christmas present for me. However, what I've decided to do is I'm keeping all of those snakes back, plus all the non-visual clowns, and we're going to breed them back. And I'm also going to take that male there, and I'm going to be breeding him to a whole bunch of other females to try and build up the lace collection if it has got lace. There's only one of two possibilities, as I say. It's either going to be lace or we've created a new gene. And how we're going to find out if it's a new gene or not is when we pair, you see the pastel, the pastel possible lace clown is a male, and the firefly lace clown is a female. We're going to breed those back together, okay? And then I've got another one which is a firefly lace 100% head clown, and then I've got another one which is a pastel lace, possible lace 100% head clown, and then I'm going to take that fire lace clown and breed it back to the one without fire. And the reason why that's happening is because fire to fire can produce a white snake, so we don't want to do fire to fire. So we're gonna do the fire to the ones that don't have fire, and we're gonna do firefly to the ones that we're gonna breed the pastels back to the ones that have fire. Confusing myself here, but basically we're not going to mix. We're not going to pair the fire back to fire, and then we're also going to take the adult proven breeder over there, and we're gonna put him to a couple of other females as well next year. He's in good condition. So guys, please let me make it perfectly clear. I'm not sitting here making a video saying Carl Hoppy from North Coast Constrictors has made lace clowns. And I'm not sitting here saying that I've created a brand new morph and a world's first and a new gene. What I'm saying here is there's a possibility of those two, which we'll find out in approximately 3 years. It's a long time to wait, okay? But nevertheless, it's fantastic. And guys, those are such stunning hatchlings, such stunning snakes. Anyway, that's it from me, guys. I want to wrap up this video. It is Christmas Eve. It's been a hell of a week. It's been a long week. We've got quite a bit of preparations to do. We've got a lot of family coming around tomorrow. I won't be dropping a video for a couple of days. I'm going to wait until after Christmas. And we've got some beautiful, beautiful hatchlings that came out over the last 5 days that are currently in the incubator now. I always leave my snakes in the incubator until their first shed. And I'm gonna save that for my new video, for new content. We've got a beautiful surprise there as well. Not world's first, no, and not lace, no, not nearly as, but still stunning. It's for a whole new video, which I'm going to probably drop on maybe Tuesday or Wednesday next week. So from me, Carl at North Coast Constrictors, I wish you all a Merry, Merry Christmas, you and your loved ones. I hope tomorrow is fantastic for you. And I'll probably do another video before New Year's Eve. And that'll probably be obviously the last video of the year. And I'll give you a proper full update on how the 2022 season has ended for us. I still have a lot of eggs in the incubator which are only going to hatch in January and February, and I've actually still got some females that have only just done their pre-lay shed about 2 days ago. So we've still got probably until March, maybe even April, where we'll have hatchlings hatching out. Guys, thank you for watching. If you haven't done so already, please hit like and subscribe. It would be wonderful to have you join our journey, and follow follow us on this. We've got some epic combinations that we are breeding. I've got some beautiful hatchlings, and you can see, guys, you can see if you look behind me, I've got 2 new hatchling racks over here, one over here, one over here. This is not where they're staying. They're actually going to go where behind the camera is. I like to run my racks, my brand new racks, for about 3 or 4 days with no snakes in them, to make sure that the temperatures are absolutely spot on. So they're switched off now. It's just because I moved them out the way so that I could make this video and set everything up at once. The video is over. So you can see things are happening here. We've got lots of eggs in the incubator. We're expecting a lot of hatchlings, but this rack is nearly full. We've got those 2 racks there that are brand new. I took delivery of them a couple of days ago, 4 days ago. They've been running. We've got them just about set perfectly, and then I think the day after tomorrow I will start putting some new hatchlings into our new hatchling racks. So guys, things are definitely happening here at North Coast Constrictors. So if you want to see more great content, if you want to see more beautiful snakes, I have got some beautiful snakes arriving in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to share with you guys. Yeah, so from me, it's over and out, and Merry Christmas, guys. Have a great one tomorrow. Cheers.